All right, so now I'm going to take you through my solution for assignment 7. So kind of the first thing you need to do is get Wireshark open, which is here on the left, and then get our WSL VM going here so we can run the program. Now, the main goal of this assignment is to intercept the packages sent over the TCP protocol to my VM while running this program in order to decrypt those bytes and then recreate a PNG image, which is possible through monitoring the traffic through Wireshark. Now, in order to do this, we first need to tell Wireshark what exactly to look at. So we can look down here at these filters, and the one for my WSL machine is this V Ethernet WSL Hyper-V firewall filter. So we click on that, and then right now we are listening to the traffic going into my WSL machine. So now let's run the program to view the packages sent. And there they are. So we can stop recording. And now, here are all the packages that were sent to my computer while running the program. So what we can do is we can right click on this first one here, move down to the follow menu, and then click on this TCP stream. And then this page that comes up here contains the contents of all the packages that were sent to my machine while running this program. But this includes some extra things. As we can see, the entire conversation was 3,788 bytes long. Although if we look back at when we ran the program, we only read 3,780 bytes, which is all the bytes we need to recreate the image. So we got a couple extra things. Now these extra things are the initial TCP handshake that has to happen to confirm the connection between my machine and whatever the program was being hosted on, as well as the determination, which is where we get those extra 8 bytes from. So what we can do is we can click on this drop-down menu, and we can see here, from this view, we see just the relevant, we see the contents of just the relevant packages which contain the data to recreate the image. As we can see, it's also 3,780 bytes, unlike the entire conversation with the extra 8. So now what I have to do is I have to XOR each of these 8-byte chunks from the entire conversation. I have to XOR those with my OUID to be able to recreate the image. Now, in order to do that, I just copied and pasted this whole thing and put it into this file here. And so now we need to extract the bytes to recreate the image. So the contents that we want is right in here. So kind of my plan of attack going into this was, well, why don't I just read this file line by line and just extract the bytes here? And that's what I did. So now if we look at my Python program that I wrote in order to solve this problem, starting off here, we have my OUID, where each character was converted to its ASCII byte value. And then here we convert it to one big long 8-byte number. And I mean, this probably wasn't necessary to do here, although I don't know, I can screw things up like this super easily, so I just wanted to make sure I do it right, and it was easier for me. So I just put it in this array first and then converted it to an 8-byte number. And then we have the in file where we will read our bytes, the out file where we will print our decoded PNG. We have an array here to hold our encrypted bytes as strings taken from this file. We have this string variable here, which will help me eliminate the spaces that come between each byte. And then we have another array which will hold our decoded bytes after they've been XORed with my OUID. So, like I mentioned before, we open the file, read it line by line, take each byte. Then after that, we convert each byte that was taken as a string to an actual byte number. And then here is where we go through each 8-byte chunk and then XOR it with my OUID. So to do this, we go through our array of bytes, eight indices at a time. We convert those into one 8-byte number. We have a little check here to make sure that it is 8 bytes. And then here's where the XORing happens. So what we do is we XOR the bytes from in my OUID and bytes in the 8-byte chunk taken from the TCP package or TCP packets, and we XOR them 1 byte at a time in this line here. And then after they've been decoded, we take that and we add it to our decoded bytes array. And then in the instructions, it also mentioned that the last few bytes might not be enough to make an 8-byte chunk. So what I do here is I check to see if there's any leftover bytes that couldn't make an 8-byte chunk with. So we convert that into one number. And then after that, we take the same amount of bytes that are left over. We take those bytes from my OUID, and then kind of the same thing here. We XOR them together 1 byte at a time, and then we add that to my decoded bytes array. And then after that, we are ready to open the file to recreate our image. So we open up that file, and then each 8-byte chunk, excluding this, the last little bit, like I mentioned, we convert that into just one big long byte stream, and then print it out into our PNG file that we created. And then after running this program, take a look in here, and we have our recreated PNG image. And yeah, that is how I solved assignment 7.